Hey all, Sheer and I here again. This is the second of 3 reviews I'm posting today. Hopefully this one will go much better. This one is about one of my favorite games this year as well, called Heavy Rain. You can see that it's for the PS3 only, never going to be in anything else. Same with Uncharted 2. Now I am deliberately covering half of this cover, but this is Heavy Rain. Why am I covering this? Because to be perfectly frank with you, whoever approved the final design of that shouldn't have. I understand the cover looks cool, but due to multiple reasons, they should have stuck with the European box art where it just shows the origami crane. Anyway, what is there to say about Heavy Rain that hasn't already been said? All these reviews are so late. Well, I myself want to be a writer, and I have a lot of really crazy ideas that I haven't put out there just yet, because in my introduction video I state that I'm afraid of my ideas being stolen. Heavy Rain is a phenomenal story. I wouldn't really even call it a video game, to be honest with you. And where with Uncharted 2 I'd recommend it to anybody, I really can't do that with Heavy Rain. And the reason for that is it's not going to appeal to everybody. To the people who love it, they really will. You got to give it a chance. It does start out very slow, but as long as you give it a chance and you stick with it and you just go through, the tutorials and all the progression, it really does start to pick up, and it's by far one of the best stories I've ever experienced in anything, period, let alone video games. I would call it more a form of interactive storytelling. Think of your own classic choose-your-own-adventure books that you may have read when you were a kid. Think of things around the same nature, but you can do a lot more than you can in those books, and you have direct control over it. Actually, David Cage is quoted as flat out refusing to allow a strategy guide to be made for this game, and I've got to give him props for that, because spoilers and such are very important not to reveal for me, so I won't be talking about this game either. I'll tell you about the characters. You have Ethan Mars, who's a father. You have a private detective called Scott Shelby. You have a woman named Madison Page, and you have an FBI agent named Norman Jayden, however you want to say it. All great characters, phenomenal story. Everybody has their own, integral reasons they're there. If a character dies in the game, they're dead. Period. Flat out. If a character dies, they are dead, and the story will keep continuing. There are dozens of outcomes, I should say, that the story can result in, the end result. But, the goal obviously is to keep everybody alive. But the sheer amount of immersion and interaction with the environment, with everything you can do, is insane. Now, it is a little more linear than I had hoped it would be, but I understand where David Cage is coming from and why he did that. Very unique game, very interactive, great story, wonderful ambience. The rain effects, in particular, are amazing. Obviously, it's pretty apparent that half the processing for the game is strictly for the rain. Before I even got the game, I actually played the demo on the PlayStation Network, and I was taking pictures of it left and right and posting it on my Facebook, trying to get people to see whether that was a game or real. And a lot of them actually couldn't tell with certain pictures that I took. Strictly due to the rain effects and the lighting effects. The voice work is really good. The characters' voices don't always match. Their dialogue doesn't always match. It's not a perfect game by any means, but the story itself just makes up for everything. How involved it gets you with the game. The life choices it forces you to make, and how you really feel like those outcomes are your own choices that you're making. Essentially makes you choose between good and evil, and what is the perception between good and evil? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? It's all left up to interpretation, really. From the very beginning to the end, it's like a really long interactive movie that happens to have gameplay elements. Again, I would not recommend it to everybody. One of my favorite games, but you have to be a patient person. I would say anybody who loves a mystery or really getting involved in something, looking for something a little different and unique, willing to give a different kind of game experience a try, that you should definitely check it out. But if you're somebody who needs instant gratification all the time, I don't know if I'd recommend it for you. I would recommend downloading the demo on the PlayStation Network and seeing if it's for you. But definitely a unique game. I also played Indigo Prophecy, David Cage's previous work. Haven't gotten a chance to play Omicron yet, but the things that this guy can do are just absolutely amazing with these games. And he's really completely opened up a brand new world for storytelling for video games. He's expanded upon everything that we thought video games could actually do. On a slightly related note, the Heavy Rain DLC has apparently been canceled. A lot of people are really upset about that, myself included. However, everybody's like, oh, Heavy Rain Move, I'm not going to play that because I don't want to play it, with motion sensing. I want to play it with the controller. But, do you guys understand how much motion sensing you used when you were playing that game? You were using the controller, the 6-axis function, the whole entire time. This is going to give you more control over everything that you can do. So I'm looking forward to it. I am going to pick it up, and hopefully, rather than the DLC being flat out canceled, what they're doing instead, I'm really hoping, is that they will release the DLC for the Move version. And yeah, I'll talk about PlayStation Move in another video, but I really do think it's going to be worth it, and I think Heavy Rain Move is going to be one of the better games for it. They've talked to David Cage about him, creating a sequel, and if I'm not mistaken, he flat out refused, and I have to give him all the credit in the world for that, because I think it would really cheapen the experience. It doesn't need a sequel. It's a phenomenal standalone game on its own right. Anybody who picks up this game, Heavy Rain here, I would really recommend it. And yeah, again, I am deliberately covering up half that cover. That cover should not have been the final cover. It looks nice, it's pretty, but I would have gone with just about anything else. And, let me know your thoughts on it. I'm curious to see what you thought of it. I'm curious to see what outcomes you went with. Did you go through the whole entire game, getting every ending possible, or did you just go through one ending? Because apparently what David Cage wants people to do, and I did not do this, I got almost all the endings, is just play through it once, and everybody's experience to be completely different, because there's so many different outcomes that can result. But I guarantee you've never played anything like this game. If you're looking for something new, fresh, original, just with a great cinematic aspect as far as like really feeling immersed, like you really feel like you're a part of the game, then you should definitely check it out. It's not for kids either. There are certain games I'd let kids play mature rated. This isn't one of them. It's definitely a game designed and geared towards adults, and you need to have an adult viewpoint in mind when you're playing the game. But I would recommend it to just about anybody who enjoys, mystery films, any kind of film noir kind of thing, looking for something new. Love those create your own adventure, choose your own adventure books when you were growing up. I really highly recommend this title. It's definitely one of my favorite games I've ever played. And even though it does have flaws, the story and the immersion and all the aspects of the game that are just perfect make up for it. The detail, the environments, it's just insane. I could talk about this game for 30 minutes, so I'm not going to. But I hope you pick it up. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, definitely pick up Heavy Rain if you haven't already. This is George again, or Sheer and I, and see you guys later.